lives in you and me. I can do nothing can stand in my way. Move mountain, move mountain. I can do anything. Yes, I can.
Hey everybody, it is Sunday Night Chat. It is the perfect place for good conversation, good content, where we talk about all things about family and faith and love and purpose, all different types of things, and I don't want you to miss it. I want you to go ahead and share this with as many people as you can and let them know that Sunday Night Chat has begun. I know there are a lot of different things that are going on in the world, and there's a lot of focus on COVID-19. And while we are praying for all of the frontline workers and all of the families that are impacted by the different things that have happened right now, and my heart goes out to people who are mourning without having to getting the opportunity to have the closure that they wanted to have. I'm praying for all of the different things that are going on. The Sunday Night Chat that we have right now is designed to give you a different outlet that we don't have to talk about that right now. Yes, we're all socially distant and we're all staying safe and at home, but it's an opportunity for us to have a conversation to kind of get your mind off of that for just about 30 minutes or so. So I want you to tune in. I'm having a great conversation with a dear friend of mine. We've been friends for over 20 years now. I'm gonna age her, not age me. But Angel Laketa Moore, she's married now. Her last name is Tanksley, but I knew it was just Moore. But she's done so many great things. She's on so many different platforms. She is most notably a comedian, and she's an actress. But personally, she is my friend. And I'm so proud of the different things that she's done. And I know that she's just getting started. So she has more children than Abraham and Abraham and Sarah combined. But I want you to go ahead and share this with all of your friends that tonight I'm having a Sunday Night Chat. Her name on all of our social platforms is That Chick Angel. So let's get ready. Let's go into a great conversation with my friend Angel. Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's chat. I am thrilled that all of you all are here. I know that you have already shared this with as many people as you possibly can. If you haven't shared it, you need to share it, lest a plague come upon you very quickly. So I'm so glad that you have tuned in tonight. I have one of my dearest friends on tonight. We have known each other long enough that she could say things about me that no one else can. She knows things about me that I am very certain that should I pass away before she does, that she will not be on the program to speak. So that is how certain I am that I do not want her to say anything at all. I want her to come with a hat on that has a brim that covers her eyes and have shades on so that no one will know she's there. She will not be one of those family and friends who comes up for special remarks. She will not say anything. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Angel Laketa Tanksley. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
So I would like to ask you how you're doing during quarantine, but I don't know if I need to ask you that because you made the most of it with your coming out with the quarantine series right now, breaking news and everything. So how is this affecting you while you're at home?
The biggest part is the homeschooling part because I still have young kids. I have two that are going into kindergarten that need to be kindergarten ready that were in a preschool. So that part today they didn't learn nothing. I just didn't have them in me. I said, you know what, leave me alone. And then I have a fifth grader, soon to be sixth grader. Luckily, he has a great teacher that's doing most of the work, but I still have to check up behind us. But creatively, I was saying to my husband and to the people who watch us on our podcast, I feel like this is my time to use my purpose and my passion to the fullest, which is why I've been cranking out so much content because, people are home, they're bored, they're scared, they're whatever they are. And I've always felt like I was supposed to entertain, inspire, and make people feel good with my craft. So, and now it's time.
Yeah, I think that a lot of creatives are creating content while they're at home because if we don't create content, then we're going crazy. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I want to go back to the 1900s and I want to talk about how you were, those who don't know it, and I don't know why they don't know it, I'm sure they do. You're probably on Wikipedia. But you were raised in holiness, sanctified, filled with the precious gift. Woo! Hallelujah. So, and I want to talk about that because even in that period of time, not saying that you're not still any of that, but during that time, you were still going your own, you were still going your own direction and you were still going your own way. Do you think that your charting your own path has been something that came from any family dynamic, something that you got from, because of course I know your grandmother too. So is it something that came from any lineage anywhere, or is it just something that you came out and when you came out, you said, oh no, this is my world and this is what I want to do?
It's a little bit of both. I know I strongly benefit from being the youngest. I have the youngest child syndrome. I can look at what other people are doing and figure out very quickly if that ain't for me, I'm not gonna make that mistake. Like I'm not the type that's like, I gotta learn from myself. I know you did that in life, but maybe it'll go differently for me. I'm like, I trust your mistake. I trust that what you did was wrong, and I'm not doing it. Okay. So I was able, being the youngest, kind of able to already live vicariously through everybody older than me. So it was easier then for me to then decide to choose a path that no one else was doing because I was like, oh, I'm already doing that because I see you all doing it. But then as far as in like what's in my DNA, I have women in my life that I feel like I don't want to say beat the odds, even though that is what they did, but they kind of didn't pay attention to what statistically was happening. You know what I'm saying? Or what people were supposed to do. So I never had that burden on me on like, I had the word of God on me. So I wasn't out here just, doing the most like yourself. But I
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What you just wait a minute. No. Listen, all of you who are watching this right now, she has not taken her medication. She is not fully sane. This quarantine is really messing with her mental stability. I was someone who I was raised in a monastery. I've been seeking the Lord for a long time.
You was seeking some other things too, amen.
So anyhow, proceed.
So yeah, I didn't, other than not wanting to disappoint God, truly, I had no other burdens on me as far as in what I felt I needed to do. So I was able to kind of do what I wanted to do, what I felt led to do, as long as it fell within the parameters of would God be pleased.
Yeah. What do you think? Because this is a common question that I have asked, and I ask this not because I don't have any other questions, but I ask this because it really piques my interest in how people chart out their own path from the standpoint of those of us who were raised in church. Oftentimes only saw a few different lanes that we were supposed to go in, according to not just
Right.
family, but like you were either going to be a preacher, you were either going to be in the choir, you were either going to be children's ministry or whatever. I'm not saying those are the only lanes, but that was very definitive things. Like when you said, I have a call, it was like, oh, do you want to be in the, it was like
Right.
within the grounds of that. Where did you see that it wasn't just this, like there was something beyond what you were just, and it not that what you saw was bad, it's just you felt that there was something beyond that.
Um, it was a little bit of both of what you said. Looking at a lot of what I saw, I was like, I don't want this.
I thought
Is
you were
this
gonna be a
it?
liturgical dancer at the church. Is what I thought.
I mean,
Man,
I did. I gave them several years of my Alvin Ailey training. Okay, I gave them a lot of my years. But be to be honest, like this is gonna sound terrible, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Nothing was sexy about what the people were doing in church. And I don't mean sexy in the form of sexual.
I
Nothing
know.
was attractive.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And wow, I don't I know we're not supposed to conform to the world standards. I still was like, I should be drawn. Like, I know without a shadow of doubt, the Lord is in my heart, fully saved, love Jesus, but I wasn't drawn to any of it. And some of that was also just the people. Like, oh, even though we have the gift. When I say we have the gift, I mean us as Christians, we have the gift that has been offered to everybody. We've just accepted it as salvation, right? And so we have this wonderful thing, but then I'm watching these people and their lives just are looking like, what? Why you? In accepting, I feel like the misery. I know we're supposed to, take on our tribulation with joy in our heart. You know what I'm saying? But I also felt like, was there not more in this life? Like I was like, I don't. It wasn't making sense. The church I'm saying that these people were not saved. But and it looked like I was like, there seems like there's more happening, but nobody's paying attention to the more that's happening. There's more things, there's more ways to reach people, there's more ways to use our gifts, but somehow we've become slaves to the four walls that the church exists in. And I was just like, not that okay, not that I am bigger than that, but I felt like my gift was. I felt like the gift that God put in me was bigger than the four walls of the church building.
Did you ever say that out loud? And did you just always think it, or did you finally say it out loud and say, "This is what I see, and I don't believe this is it"? And how did
Oh
that feel?
no, I just knew it and moved in it. There was parts of me. Look, I had no. I will say that I had told my mother when I was younger. A lot of things I actually spoke when I was really young and not cognizant of the feelings I would have later. But I know when I was 5, I was like, I'm gonna live in California. This is when we still were living in Baltimore, Maryland. And my mother was like, oh, okay. I forgot that I had said that. So there are certain things that I might have said early on that I wasn't registering was going to be something. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with being committed to your neighborhood church, where you grew up, where you were born. I do believe that a lot of work can be done right where we are, right where we are planted. I just knew that wasn't for me because I fully believe God doesn't give us gifts for them not to be able to be used fully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, and it just does not go along with my belief. I would have to lie to myself. So once I think I came into knowing that I felt like God gave me something special. Not that He doesn't give everybody something special, but I knew that okay, this is not where I'm going to be, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and it's good because when you talked about how you were raised with women who did not go the certain direction or what was typical. I mean, because you're talking about your mom, the evangelist of all evangelists.
Yeah.
You know, talking about casting out demons, speaking in tongues, will shout on a dime. Evangelist. Well, if you put a beat in Meyer, she will start shouting in the middle of Meyer. If you push her, but the fact that she and even what you were surrounded with was like, you don't have to go my way. You know, you can go the way that you're led to go and be fully supported in that. It's just a wonderful thing because everybody does not have that story.
Right. Now, please believe she does want me to go her way too. She would love to be able to boast that all 4 of her daughters are ministers. I said, the Lord is not going to give that to you. But I unlike yourself, like, I don't know how many lineages of, was your father's father a pastor?
Yes.
Or preacher? Okay, so you got a lot more role. Now, granted, my grandmother, I do believe, eventually became, I don't know, that cussing woman. I'm not sure. But I'm like, was she a minister at one point in time? But my mother kind of was the Moses of our, not Moses meaning your daddy, but Moses of the Bible for our family. It wasn't like, oh yes, maybe on my mother, my grandmother, my maternal mother's side a little bit, but my mother's upbringing wasn't like church. It was something she found and then kind of ushered the rest of the family into that way. So she was already doing something different just by gaining the strong connection with the Lord, gaining the strong like relationship, because it's not our family lineage like that. Like I said, maybe on my mother's side, because I do remember her in church, but it wasn't really like, oh, our family has known the Lord for 18 generations. No.
Yeah. So now we met around a place called Anytown.
Yes, we did.
Red, yellow, black, or brown.
Yeah.
So I feel sometimes that the world needs an Anytown right now. For those of you who are not sure what Anytown is, because you don't know what Anytown is, I'm sure. I don't even know if they even still have Anytown anymore. I don't know.
I don't think they do. They do need to bring it back though. Kids is just too ornery though.
Well, it was a place where we went, and I don't know what the qualifications are going where. I really don't know. I mean, it's very vague to me now. But there was different ones of us from many different cultures, many different backgrounds, many different places we went. And they had one particular exercise that was the defining exercise that we had where they split up um, all different types of people. Like they split up the light skinned blacks, dark skin, whites, those who were Hispanic, or whatever, just different races. And we all had different assignments. And a lot of our assignments were we could not speak to each other or talk to each other. And I remember how difficult that day was because I think like the light skin could sit down and eat, but the dark skin had to come and get the food, pick up. Do you remember that? I mean, it was, and then we came back to assembly towards the ending of the day. And I remember, I can't remember his name, but somebody was like, I'm gonna go talk to my best friend. And like, he just broke it. And then everybody started crying and hugging each other and stuff like that. But it was basically to show us the lens of which the world is, that it's not always, we all just get along, we all join hands and sing a kumbaya. But I believe that it taught us how to appreciate and to value each other. Do you feel like a lot of your work that you do, whether comedic or whatever, is to bring the life or to provide life to things that would otherwise be stale?
Ooh. I don't know if it's to bring life to what otherwise might be stale.
Because you've always provided the humor in everything. That's always been your thing.
Right. You know what? If the person watching stale, yes, that is what I'm trying to bring life to, is the viewer more so than the topic. I feel like there are a lot of people who have either put themselves on autopilot or have resolved that life is just as it seems, and that there is nothing greater than. And I feel like that is where my work's focus. I'm always trying to have an effect on the person watching what I have created. It is not just for me to be like, y'all know I'm funny. Did you see that? That quick joke, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it is truly to change or inspire or uplift the person who has decided, either by accident or purposefully, to give me 3 to 5 minutes of their time for some reason. I want to be effective. I want to have an effect. And I try to make sure, because I'm very honest, even if I'm wrong, I'm going to be honest about typically how I feel, even if what I feel is wrong and what I'm saying is wrong. I try to be honest. So with that being said, I take what I make very seriously, because I want to make sure that whatever effect I'm having is the effect that the Lord wants me to have on those people. Because now people actually come to me to have the effect. They're like, I need something. And so while in my regular conversation with my friends, like I said, I'm very honest, even if my honesty is wrong.
Well,
I try to but I do try to make sure when I am working that I am in tune. Like even with my petty prayers, which can sometimes be controversial for people who take the Lord, I guess, more seriously than myself.
They're serious. They can't laugh. We're taught not to laugh. We don't
right.
do that.
But even like in my petty prayers, people don't realize like how much I'm truly talking to the Lord the entire time I'm creating it. I'm like, okay, what? Like I am waiting always for the divine intervention to come to me before I actually record. People think I just be making those things willy-nilly. I take those things so seriously, because I'm like, I know some people are going to be offended regardless. Now, literally be the only time they see somebody pray, right? That might be the only time they see it in a way that they can relate to it. And even though my stuff be comical, it's truly like I am truly also trying to bring the fact that we can bring anything to the Lord. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how foolish it sounds. He will take our foolish thoughts and listen to them. So while like I said, it's not everybody's tea, I take those things seriously. I take all of my work seriously, even rants I do with my husband. I do those. Oh, go ahead.
No, I want to ask, because everything is serious. I mean, you take it seriously. I want to know, how has, even in humor, because even your humor, like I remember when you were to come to host my 40th birthday, yeah. And the question was, is this Christian humor or do you want Christian Angel, or do you just want me? I was like, this is very much Christian. Do not,
yeah. Like, let me grab hold.
So I want to know, because because there are a lot of people, honestly, who are so in their silos and so in their little bubble that they don't know how to cross over or how to mingle or to be effective in another lane. And still be very much Christian and still be very much faith-filled. How did you find, of course, you've always been very much yourself, authentic, but how has it been for you with, a very diverse circle, very diverse friends that are not just church friends? You can throw a party and anybody might show up. How do you, how has that been for you to balance or to be yourself or to bring your faith into all these different cultures or environments?
Well, luckily, I would say the Lord has blessed me to be in the arts for most of my life. And if anyone who is in the arts knows that a lot of people in the arts doing acting, theater, dance, a lot of them do not come from Christian backgrounds. Okay. And we're there, but I don't think we're the majority. And with that being said, I realized that like being the let me quote you a scripture and let me put you down at the same time, was never going to get these people to ever be like, I wonder if Jesus should be my Lord and Savior. I realized early on that mess only works in the hood, maybe for people who had a praying grandmother. It does not work for folks, you
That's
know.
what Hannah Baylor said. I had a praying grandmother, but go ahead.
Come on. It doesn't work for the folk whose parents, you know, are atheists and just, you know, raise them in a combine or something. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way. So I learned that early on that that approach was not going to be effective in those scenarios. However, I also never felt the need to dull down my beliefs, dull down what I believe. People, anybody know me. Anybody out here, anybody that know me, know Angel, love herself some Jesus, and Angel ain't about to change that. So what's great is because I was introduced to all these people of different walks of life early, I am comfortable in my own skin around them. I'm comfortable in my own beliefs around them, which allows them to meet a Christian person, a person who has what I feel is moral integrity, all that stuff, and them not be weirded out. A lot of people out here in California, liberal California, they have a very narrow perspective of what a Christian person does and is. And it's usually extremely right, winged, sometimes fanatical. And I'm like, I'm not that, and I am uber Christian. Like, I'm an uber Christian. Like, I don't even know how else. I'm speaking in tongues, healing. I'm not just talking about show up on Easter Sunday. I'm talking about we had Bible study. We didn't go to the revival. Like, I'm that person. So, I think exposure, you know how it is being a Christian from a small town. We get in our own bubble. And it's sometimes that bubble makes us so that we can't effectively communicate with anybody outside of the bubble. So, like I said, I feel grateful that the Lord allowed me to meet people outside of the bubble that I grew up in really early. That way, I was like, oh, I can talk to you, and you can talk to me, and we can have like a meeting of the minds. You can get a little, you know, hopefully a closer picture of the Lord, and maybe one day be like, I'm going to give him a try.
What I do know about you is that your friend base has pretty much remained the same through the years. You have had sprinkles of other people, but your core has always been, you know, the same. How has that been for you as you have elevated and evolved, and continue to evolve and are not finished evolving, you know, going to continue to do that?
Yeah.
How has maintaining close relationships with those that have been your friends or your supporters or know your stories or whatever through the years been as you meet new people?
Let me tell you what you talked about what your funeral will be like. I know without a doubt on my tombstone better be, thank you for being a friend. Okay. That's come on and back again. Just like I take my craft seriously, I take my friendships even more seriously. I don't call a lot of people friends because I take friendships so seriously, and I set my requirements as a friend pretty high, so I can't give it to too many people because I'll be worn out. But you know, I'm not a person that believes in zodiac signs. I hate when people are like, what's your sign? Because I'm like, I don't know if I fit any of whatever you're talking about. But one thing they say about cancers is that we are loyal to a fault, and I am loyal to a fault. And so that's one reason why I feel like my friendships have lasted, is that I try to remain loyal. I try to meet the occasion, and I try to encourage my friends to meet the occasion for me as well. And then what's helped me as my status has changed, which it really hasn't, in friendships, is my husband. He's not a person that wants to be making wants me making a bunch of new friends. So that so now I'm very selective. I'm at the age and point in life now that if we don't have something to offer each other of benefit, we can be acquaintances, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody ain't gotta be my friend. We can be strong acquaintances, and it's great. So now, as if new friends, or if new friends come into my life, it really has a thing. It's really like, are we kind of like, it's not soulmates. Are we kindred spirits? And do we have something of value to offer each other, so that we already know our relationship has some worth to it, other than, oh, we laugh all the time with each other. I laugh with you all the time. I laugh with my friends of 20 some years time. I don't need new laughs.
Yeah.
The laughs are there still. So yeah, that's friendship wise. That's what I'm rocking with right now.
Speaking of Marcus ain't on the gram and Marcus ain't on the book, how did that evolve? You know, he's not here to speak for himself, but that was not something that he started interested in. So how
Oh,
did that happen? So now you are not only is he not on the ground, not only is he not on the book, but doing the podcast and doing breaking news, showing up, as a corona, all these different things. So how has that evolved? I mean, because I mean, oftentimes you have one person who's doing this is just their lane, and the other person is just supporting it or just whatever. But he's very much his own personality, and Marcus is very funny within
yeah,
himself,
yeah.
so I think it's hilarious. And shameless plug for those of you who are watching, I do use his beard, his
Yeah.
beard cream. So if you like my beard, which I'm sure you do, it is because of Marcus's Marcus's. So you need to go ahead and get his stuff. And Angel will give you all the information before we get off of here today, because it has blessed me. Oh, God bless. I've got
Amen.
many engagements because of my beard. But anyhow, talk about Marcus ain't on the ground.
Okay, so yes, my husband I consider to be one of the funniest people that I know, and that was one of the reasons me cackling. I was like, oh dear God, this is great. He's funny. So then when I began this career, fast forward of me beginning a career as an influencer, um, people kept asking to see more of him in my content, because a lot of my content was sharing my life, and they're like, you got a husband right there, like, why does he was very much so like, and he also realized that he was holding up my paper. I was like, more people will be watching this if you would stop being so ornery and come over here and talk. Well, then he eventually, and I have, you know what I'm saying, begging, pleading with this man, trying to get him to understand, like, you're not seeing the vision, sir. And then one day he had an epiphany. He was on his job. He was talking to someone in a position higher than him, and the person was talking about their week and just how grueling the week was with the amount of work and stuff. And Marcus in his head realized, this is the next position for me, the position this person is talking about.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
you all
want,
talked about that on the podcast.
yes, he was like, I don't want none of this. Not at all. I'd rather, because he had already started dibbling and dabbling. We had already did the people had asked us for a podcast, like, and we started that soon after they asked. We've been doing the podcast for almost 5 years now. And I think he realized, like, why wouldn't I want to be able to work with my wife? Why wouldn't I want to be able to build a brand and be my own boss? I think it was just because it was so foreign to who he had grown up to be, and what he had known to be viable. He has two one father passed away, but prior to that, two hardworking parents that worked in regular fields where they got paid by employers. So in his head, while he has entrepreneurial goals, like, doing something as like new and weird as social media just seems stupid. But now that we are rubbing elbows and are part of a circle of people that make money off of this full time, he's now able to see logistically, oh no, these people are making money and doing well for themselves. This is not a waste of time. This actually could be the financial freedom that he's always wanted for his family to have. So he's finally letting his little light shine. He's allowing me to coach him through but he's naturally funny. So I just try to help, polish some of it so that it's easy for me to edit. But yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's very good. I think it's hilarious. So, so there are people who are watching right now who are aspiring to break out of familiar, aspiring to break out of different things, and whatever lane they're in, are fearful for whatever reason, or are trying to follow the path. Because sometimes even those people who, I heard somebody say one time before, they said, if you're not careful, out of the box can become traditional, in the sense of you see someone who is out of the box and then you want to be like them, and then that becomes tradition. Like, no, out of the box means it's out of the box. Even that person is out of the box. You have to, don't let their box even be the thing that defines you. But anyhow, what would you say to someone who's watching right now on how to become your authentic self and how to continue to evolve and not stop? I mean, you've gone from I don't know if people even know how many no's you have heard, as far as all the different auditions that you had, and that didn't go well, the pilots that you thought was going to go that didn't happen, or whatever. What would you tell someone about stick to itiveness, staying in there, keep going, whatever, et cetera, whatever you want to say?
First, if you are trying to break out, if you're trying to become your authentic self, the first thing, and this is what I say on speaking engagements, you have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. And what I mean by that is we will lie to ourselves about what we enjoy based off of what we feel like everybody thinks we're supposed to enjoy, thinks we're supposed to like. You got to be honest. If you hate doing certain stuff, be honest with yourself and quit trying to play. Like, some people are like, oh, yes, well, I taught Sunday school because I just love the children. No, you don't. Is that real? Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people do, some people don't. So first, being honest, because we get comfortable, but we're not honest about, oh, I only do this because it's comfortable for me to do. It's not really what I would want to do, right? That's the biggest thing. And then once you're honest, you can begin to take the steps to move into the direction of where, because even with that honesty, some people are like, oh yeah, I want to be an actor. Is it you want to be an actor or you want to be famous? Different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's okay. If you want to be famous, that's fine. We can probably get you there quicker than doing it as an actor. You know what I'm saying? We get you there quicker a different way. So just being honest about what you feel about things and what you honestly want. And then to the point of the out of the box becoming traditional, I am guilty of that, just because I am a lifelong student and I'm always studying studying past, and I have to repent a lot of the time because I'm like, a lot of times the Lord is like, but I gave you your blueprint. Like, so why are you looking at I gave them their blueprint, but I gave you yours. So why are you trying to do it their way when that's not what I said? So I say, so with that, it's really seeking the Lord on what he specifically wants you to do. While I don't think there's anything wrong with learning from your predecessors, just because, again, I'm a youngest child, I easily learn watching other people. But truly asking guidance from God on what steps, because there might be some steps he wants you to skip that you ain't got to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people come out here and they're like, okay, so you got to do background work. You got to be an extra. If I would have thought that, I would have missed my blessing. I went straight to becoming a guest star. I missed all of that. The Lord might not have certain steps for you, so you got to really be paying attention to that. And then you asked me one more thing. Oh, persevering. You got to know that you know that you know that you know. That's the big the biggest thing. I am 100% assured that this is where I am supposed to be, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Does the picture of what I wanted in life look exactly like this? Not at
Yeah.
all. But the Lord constantly shows me signs that I'm where I'm supposed to be. He constantly, not that I've done everything the way He's asked me to do it, but in trust, would life would life be easier in some ways, if in forms of fashion, if I would have just come back to Kentucky and be a stay-at-home mom with my 4 kids and let my husband work in some construction business and just I might be depressed. Bills would be paid, but I would probably be depressed most of the time. However, I feel like the Lord constantly, just the provisions He's provided, the opportunities, the doors He's opened. And I ask, listen, I'm not afraid to ask my Father for what I want. I'll be like, Lord, show me that this is going to be what it's supposed to be. So, it's me knowing that one, these no's that I've gotten, these things that have been taken away from me, does not have any part of or influence on my value.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even have any influence on if I'm supposed to be doing this or not. It's just that wasn't mine. You know what I'm saying? That particular thing. And if people are going to put values in the yes or the no, they are going to find themselves on an emotional roller coaster that they are going to want to jump off of. Not to say that the no's don't sometimes sting a little bit, but my value doesn't come from man's yeses and man's no's. Like, what's the point of being a Christian if that's all we're going to be putting if that's what we're going to put our faith and our value in? Yeah. Then we can just not be Christians and just let man decide everything. So yeah, a long time ago. And these assets to be a woman of faith out here is that I can surely take a licking when it happens, and I can keep on ticking because I serve the person who is paying the person that decided to tell me no. So I'm like, Lord, if it wasn't meant for that to happen, He will reverse it. I have been told no, and then I've been assured that the answer was supposed to be yes. And sure enough, they come back and say yes. So I'm like, I ain't got no reason to be worried. I don't have a reason to be worried. It might not end in an Oscar, but that's the Lord never told me it was ending in an Oscar. So, I mean, if He decides that, hopefully He'll tell me, and I'll be like, okay, great, I'm cool with that. But right now, I'm living the dream that God told me that I would, that God put in my heart. That was to be able to be a mom, very involved in her kids' life, while also being a full-time actress. And that is what I am.
Well, let the people know how to follow you on all the social, as well as Marcus on Marcus ain't on Skype. Marcus ain't on whatever. Tell the people how to follow you.
Good Lord. You can follow me at That Chick Angel across all platforms. On YouTube, I am That Chick Angel TV, and then on TikTok, I'm That Chick Angel TV. And my husband is Marcus Ain't on the Gram on Instagram, Marcus Ain't on the Book on Facebook, and then he has a beard and body butter. It is spelled MANSHYT. You all get it. MANSHYT.com is where you can get it. We're actually taking a little bit of a break from shipping out anything because of the pandemic, and we don't want to send anything that could potentially become contaminated because of, how contagious this is. But once it's all over, you can get it for $15 and have a beard like Pastor Mario Radford.
Get yours while supplies last. Well, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. All of those who have been watching, I hope that you are encouraged and that you're inspired and that you will do something that you didn't think you could do, and that you would dream bigger than you thought you could dream, and that you would go further than you thought you could go. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and I'll see you the same time, same place next week.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I could talk to Angel all night long, as you already know that. We've been friends for a very long time, and it was great to catch up with her. I want you to make sure that you follow her and Marcus on all of their platforms that they have. She gave you hers, she gave you Marcus's, so I want to make sure that you follow them on Marcus Ain't on the Book, Marcus Ain't on the Gram, all that type of stuff. You'll be really happy that you did, and make sure you follow even their podcasts and things that they have. Some really great content, funny content, will make you think, and I want you to stay in on it. If you would like to be a guest on Sunday Night Chat, and I don't know it, would you let me know? Tell me. I won't know unless you tell me. Send me an email or send me a message on all my platforms. It'll get to me. I'd love to have a conversation about life and how your faith is operating and what it is that you do. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I hope this was a great breakaway from your norm, just for a moment, to have a conversation about how faith works and how life works and how purpose works and how you can have a little bit of laughter in the midst of all of this. I want you to stay safe, guard your mind, make sure that you're good. All right? Have a great night. I'll see you same time, same place next week. Good night.
Lives in you and me. I can do nothing can stand.